3,000 likes on today's video and I'll deadass post yet another video tomorrow as well. Every year I post a video about my settings, and since it's been over 1 year since the last settings video, I thought it was about time to make yet another one with my updated settings, keybinds and gear. So stick around to the end of the video to get a better understanding of what settings and gear I use and why. Let's get right on into it. Alrighty everyone, we are now on Fortnite, and first and foremost we've got to talk about the most important setting, and that is over in the item shop section of Fortnite. And it is simply going down to the bottom right corner and clicking the support creator button, typing in code MARINTM. I'm obviously just capping. Let's get into the settings and the gear. So starting off on video, I use full screen and I use 1920x1080. As a lot of you guys probably already know, back in the day I used to use 1750x1080, also known as stretched resolution. The reason I don't use this anymore is because I feel like I get more FOV with 1920x1080, and I also feel like it's just better for videos because it looks prettier. Moving on to the frame rate limit, I use 240 because I don't really see any reason using 236. Basically the thing is, if you have a 240Hz monitor, people say you should use 4 or 3 FPS lower than what your actual monitor refresh rate is to make the video or game smoother. Sorry about my phone right there. Going on to the brightness, I have 100% and 1x on this thing. I use Triton and I use Cold Blind Strength 4. On all of this, I use low. Moving down here, I don't use VSync, motion blur, and I use DirectX number 11, not number 12, because that just makes my game crash all the time, and I'm not capping. I used it, and I think I crashed 3 times in a day. With this thing, I maybe crash like once a week or once a second week or whatever. So these are pretty good settings overall, and I really enjoy them. So if you want to test some new settings out, definitely give these a go. The reason I use Triton is because it's so easy to see llamas, and it's just like a game changer for me. I only use 4 because I feel like if I do more, my eyes are gonna get strained. So that's why I use 4 and not 10. Moving on over to game settings, nothing really too much to be said here. I use auto open doors and sprint by default, as well as confirm edit on release, and obviously turbo building. I don't know what this is, but I use that one as well. Definitely, if you want to change your settings or try some new ones, you can copy mine. I'm not saying they're the best settings in the game, but I feel like they're really good. Or actually, maybe the title says the best settings, but yeah, that is what it is. Moving on over to game UI, I use 75% on my HUD scale because so many people said, "Yo Marin, why are you using such a big HUD?" And I was like, okay. I'll turn it down to 75%. And for the other settings here, you can just go ahead and copy these. I don't really have anything to say about these settings because they're nothing special. Pretty much everything is on. I gotta turn off that sound on my phone. I'm sorry, boys. But yeah, the only thing I don't use here is this bottom one. I don't really know what that is, but I'm not gonna test that out either. Moving on to the mouse and keyboard, this is where it gets interesting, because a lot of people have been asking me about my sensitivity and why I use such a low sensitivity. And it's also okay to add that I use 400 dpi in a settings video, because a lot of people are probably going to be asking about that. I use 400 dpi and 8% X and Y, and although this is relatively low, it fits me perfectly. I enjoy this sensitivity so much, and it is the godsend for me. I'm not saying that this is the godsend for everyone, because it 100% is not. It's very low, and you gotta do major mouse movements to do a 90, to do edits, all of that. But because of my shaky aim, I gotta have a low sensitivity if I want to hit my shots, and that is why I use 8% X and Y and 400 dpi. And with all of that being said, we can move on over to the next setting, which is controller options. And although I don't play controller, these are insane controller settings. So if you are on controller and looking for some new settings, I would highly recommend you guys to test these ones out. They're the best controller settings out there. I'm not even capping when I'm saying it. I love these controller settings. They're so good. And I used these ones when I played controller back in the day. I was experimenting with it, and then my controller broke. So not the best feeling, but it is what it is. Moving on over to audio, nothing really too interesting to be said here. Then over to the keybinds. Woo, this is a banger. So I use double movement keybinds, basically meaning that I have 2 set of keybinds for my movement. This makes it so that my movement on keyboard can be like the movement on controller. So I can basically like look to the side when I'm running, and I use the mouse button 2 for that, and V. It's insane. If you haven't tested it out, check it up on YouTube. Just search it up. It'll come a few videos on it. So definitely go ahead and check that out. It's so good. Moving on downwards, I use nothing special here. But on the building keybinds, I have actually just swapped my, what's it called, roof keybind from X to left shift. Major improvement in just quality of how I play. I've become so much better. I just swapped it like a week ago, and I really enjoy this keybind, man. It's super good. So let's move on down. If you want to copy these settings, feel free to do so. They're nothing really special, but I personally enjoy them a lot, and I feel like they're good keybinds. Not optimal, but good. Moving on over to controller, I'm just quickly going to go through this. If you want to copy them, feel free to do so. These ones are pretty good. These are the ones I used, and I feel like they were as optimal as you can get them. I did have back pedals on my controller though, so if you do not have that, these keybinds are going to be a bit different for you, but definitely if you still can copy them, feel free to do so. They are good, trust me when I say it. And then over to account and privacy, nothing really too special here. And those are pretty much all of my settings. I feel like these settings are amazing, and if you want to try them out, feel free to do so. Lastly, in this video, we've got to talk about the gear, and as my mouse, I use the G-Wolves Hottie. It is the perfect size and the perfect weight. However, it is broken, and the G-Wolves Hottie breaks really easily, so if you're looking for a mouse for the long term, I would not recommend the G-Wolves Hottie. It is a mouse that breaks really easily, and I've had a lot of friends have it, and it's broken down in like 2 months or less. So with that being said, I am looking to invest in an Endgame XM1. Those mice look incredible, and I just really want to get one. Over to the keyboard, I use a Apex Pro, like pretty much every other Fortnite player. And then for the mousepad, I use a Steel Series QCK Heavy XXL. I use this one because it's very basic, it's pretty cheap, and it's super smooth when I drag my mouse across it. It is literally the perfect mousepad for me. Then over to the PC, I use a 2080 Ti inside my PC, as well as an i9 in 9900 KS, and then 32GB 3600mHz RAM. And then lastly, for my microphone, I use a Shure SM7B. So you guys clearly can hear my voice sounds amazing, and that is because this mic is like $500. I'm sorry if this video was slightly more boring than my usual videos, but it's kind of like an annual thing. I gotta post one settings video every year. People seem to request it and want those videos, so you know, I gotta make them. However, if you guys did go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to drop a like, you know the drill, 3,000 likes, and I'll make another video tomorrow as well. And with all of that being said, everybody, please go on to have a wonderful night for me, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, take care.